You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, so why don't we go ahead and... Oh, I hit that button too soon. Sorry if there was a little echoey there for a minute. And we'll get started with who's first. Goose. What's up, Goose?
Hey, Ryan. Goose here, calling after that thankfully win. It was a very frustrating game to watch. The amount of drops was just disgusting, and that includes our cornerbacks who dropped 4 interceptions that really could have swung the way that game played.
Right.
But you have to give it this to the team. They stuck it out through adversity and injury and pulled off a win in a kind of difficult situation. They definitely could have been disheartened in this game, and they didn't. They fought. They took their quarterback even going out and got a touchdown. He came back, and they played well aside from the drops. It's glaringly obvious that this team's going to need to address cornerback and offensive line in the offseason. But as long as the injuries stop coming at such a fast rate and we start getting some people back, I think this team's going to be okay. It's a win. Let's be happy about it. And most of all, anyone who's pointing at Matt LaFleur or Jordan Love as the problem with this team, though Love was last week, but that's not the point. They need to step back and look at the season as a whole, because that was a good game. Love played excellently. His receivers let him down a bit there, but Watson didn't. Watson is a stud. So happy to see him out there. He is everything. He's going to be everything that I thought he could be, I think. He is fast, but he's got great hands. And he just shows up in clutch moments. I am so happy with him. Hopefully, Packers fans, you can take this and be happy with it instead of spitting on a win. And this win is a little extra sweet. We lost my mother-in-law at the end of October.
I'm sorry.
And it's been crazy. And this is the first game that I've gotten to really sit down and watch since then. So it was really nice to get a win there and for the team to play as hard as they did, even if there were mistakes. So go Pack, go. The Bears still suck. And let's start trouncing the North as we come into this part of our schedule. Thanks.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. I do plan on elaborating exactly on that topic as far as the Bears suck and whatnot. We'll be doing that tomorrow. All things, assuming everything goes well and there's no, nothing comes up. Laughing at the enemy is what I'm talking about, is tomorrow. I plan on doing all 3 teams. And as far as Watson, I think as long as he stays healthy, and everybody gets banged up now and again, but none of this, you play a half a year every year thing. I think we just got a guy in him, just straight up. And, Jaden Reed, we've seen, the second half of last year didn't go great, but I think he needs help. I think if he's like the main guy, I don't know that it's going to be great, but if you have, for example, Watson and Reed as a tandem, I think it's going to be special. If you get Golden going, get Tucker back, I think Reed is going to be an absolute stud as well. So, we just got to get our guys back. We got to get healthy. Not having Tucker sucks, but looking into the future, Tucker, Reed, Watson, and hopefully Golden is everything we hope he can be. Good Lord, that is going to be a great group. I agree. We got to work on offensive line. I would add defensive line to that list. I love Wyatt, but I don't know that we have a great run defender on the interior. And it would be nice to kind of bolster that a bit. We've kind of had some swing in a minute. We haven't put a ton into it. I think in the early rounds, especially, you're looking for pass rushers. I mean, if you're lucky enough to pick in the top 5 and you get these elite pass rushers that also are dominant against the run, in other words, they're 320-pound run defenders that are also such freak athletes that they can also, do all the other stuff. If you're fortunate enough to get that, then you're great. Otherwise, you're kind of expending maybe third round at the earliest on some interior, like pure run defender types. Maybe second. I mean, that's when kind of like your premier nose tackles go. Anywho, that would be my thought. Offensive line, defensive line. I am working real hard on getting some NFL draft stuff going. I got sidetracked because I started working on something else, which is a short project that I think is basically done. It's another website, but it's, how I do my mathematical calculations. Basically, it's just a website that'll do that, and so you guys will be able to go there. Because it does require pulling from an API and stuff, there is going to be a little, if you wouldn't mind leaving any kind of a donation, that'd be great thing there. But if anybody, I don't even know. Like I said, I don't know how many people are interested in the betting stuff, but I think that'll be a fun resource. And I'll talk to the man behind the curtain, see if he wants to maybe go play over there and have some stuff outside of the mathematical things, But anyways, once that's dead and gone, I'm going to get back to my NFL draft thing that, again, super excited about. I've got another one that's been tabled forever that's also basically done. But I think it was just a little early, and I don't know. So anywho, yeah, Garrett, Southern Illinois, what's up?
Ryan, since it's almost Toyota-thon season, I would like to trade in my banged-up 300,000-mile Toyota Tercel Love version.
Heck yeah.
For a 2024 Toyota Supra Turbo Love Edition.
Yeah.
I would like to get financing rate of 0% for the next 4 to 6 years.
Okay.
And mix in a couple of Super Bowls in with that, please, as an option. Thank you very much. Thank you for doing business. Look forward to getting my Toyota Supra Love Edition.
I'm very hopeful that what we just watched in this last game, where Jordan apparently via PFF had his best game, was a little bit of a preview of what's to come. That's the hope. And remember, his last best game was in the playoffs against Dallas. I know it didn't maintain throughout, but I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. The 27 thing, the Toyota-thon thing, the Watson thing, why can't I get Myles frickin' Garrett out of my head? I hate that when I want to say somebody's name and then it's like, you mean Myles Garrett? Like, no, I don't mean Myles Garrett. Oh, you mean Myles Garrett? Yeah, no. I just said no. Oh, okay. So Myles Garrett then? I'll frickin' stab you. Micah Parsons. Why do they both have to start with M, dude? It's Myles Garrett. My lord. The Micah Parsons thing, which, you look at the Packers, what do? Reggie White, Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the stars are all just starting to come together. I know the play on the field doesn't look anything like Super Bowl, but all the other crap does. So there's that.
Hey, it's Jimmy, Aaron too. Call me whatever you want. Doesn't matter. So I am watching this game on delay. So I'm going to tell you right now, very specifically, I still don't know what's going to happen in this game. I know we're up 19-13 right now, but we just gave the ball back to them because we just threw a bomb on 3rd and 1. So it's the very end of the third quarter. The fourth quarter is about to begin. And I know, the questioning of the play calling is a tough thing, and I get it. 3rd and 1, totally go for something because they're going to be surprised. But I just, and it's not a results-oriented thing. I get it. I get that it didn't work and it might have worked and there's a good chance that it could have worked, and I like the ballsiness. I pedal to the metal, whatever. But it just seems like an unnecessary risk when the priority at that stage in the game, when they have just had this long drive where they just nickel and dime their way all the way down the field, took forever, and we finally stopped them, and we have a chance to not go 3 and out, to take that chance on 3rd and 1 instead of like making sure that we get. So I don't know. And again, I don't know though. I don't know. Maybe it's not a play call. I get it. There's a million factors that go into it, but one way or the other, I would like our team to be on the same page that like the priority at that moment is to secure the next first down and stay on the field and not, do a lower percentage situation. And granted, Watson's been catching, he's been the most reliable receiver. He almost caught it. So like, but even if he had, I would have been kind of irritated. You know what I mean? I've been happy, of course, but I would have been like, your process. I mean, the process is what I'm talking about, not the results. I'm just questioning the process. Go Pack, go. I'm still feeling good. I think we're going to take it. So, and I'm like the loser who just is the only one in the world that doesn't know at this point. So I'm going to hang up and find out. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, but I mean, the very obvious issue here is the fact that just 1 week ago, on 4th and 1, we ran the ball and didn't get the first down, and everybody threw a fit about it. So I'm not saying that was you. I would agree that running the ball is probably a higher percentage thing. But there is no way to secure it, as in, like, this is for sure how we can get a first down. There's just probabilities, I guess. The other thing is, you mentioned we threw a bomb and then play calling and all that. I mean, really, the only thing we know about the play call, well, we don't know really much of anything. There may have been 2 play calls, one run and 1 pass. And Jordan checked into it. I have no idea. But let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that it was a pass play that was called. Again, as I've said numerous times, we have to remember that there are multiple people running routes on a play. Whether we throw to the check down, whether we throw to the shorter or intermediate routes or the deeper routes, is to some degree up to Jordan and the coverage, right? So, I mean, we can't even say, okay, well, then why didn't you just throw like a shorter pass, which, again, is we're getting to such a nitpicky, silly area here, where it's like, okay, well, I don't want you to run it, and I don't want deep passes, and I don't want, like, kind of deep passes, like 15 yards. So if we could just do anywhere between, like, 2 and 7, like, okay, we're getting silly. And again, when we get super specific, now all we're talking about is becoming predictable. So, yeah, I it is what it is, man. I don't know. I mean, I certainly have a preference, and my preference in those situations is to run. That is my preference. I know sometimes you don't, but you should, and I don't like the deep passing generally, unless it works, obviously, but sometimes you do it, Not all the time, not most of the time, but sometimes. And, it's either going to work or it's not, I guess, but that's just the way she goes. I don't know, how often do we do it compared to how much we should do it. I don't know. But, again, the one thing I know for sure is if we don't convert a 3rd or 4th down, somebody will call in and be mad about the play calling. It doesn't matter if it's a run or if it's a pass or whatever. As long as it doesn't work, somebody didn't like it. Same with, kicking a field goal or going for it. If you go for it and you don't get it, we should have kicked a field goal. And, he's being reckless. And then if we do kick a field goal and we end up losing the game or we miss the field goal, then he's being a coward and he needs to not play scared or play to lose or play to tie. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and again, I'm not saying you're doing this necessarily because I haven't tracked who says what about what, but just from my perspective, that's just how it goes all the time, and it gets super annoying. And it might be everybody's just being completely honest, and there are 0 hypocrites. It's just you got some people that like field goals, some people like to go for it, some people like to run, some people like to pass. But again, just from my perspective, all I can do is sit here and roll my eyes. Like, guys, we either as a fan base got to get on the same page of what we want, or we just got to stop doing this because it's getting crazy.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? Kyle from Mad.
Kyle, I'm going to interrupt you. I apologize. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Listen, I'm just sitting here watching the Eagles and the Lions. Basically, it looks a lot like last week when we played the Eagles. I'm just thinking to myself, man, our team has got to get it together. I mean, the win was that was step one. Like, you got to go to New York, you got to get a win. Anything else would have been basically a season ender for morale, if not mathematically, you know. So they did what they needed to do. There's some positives there. There's still a bunch of negatives as well, and there's more injuries. But I don't know. We're gonna lose a lot of guys next year, and I'm not sure that I am totally trusting of the brain trust at this point. I'm not sure that there's a lot of evidence for or against the fact that Jordan Morgan can play left tackle, but I'm pretty sure that's the direction we're going to go. And so you got a lot of guys under contract that you're going to lose. And this cannot be a wasted season. Like, this cannot be a wash. It's just opportunities like this just too rare. I know there's injuries. Everybody's got injuries. And you look around the NFC right now, outside of the Rams and the Seahawks, who do you think the Packers couldn't beat? I mean, I know they could lose to anyone, but like, who do you think they couldn't beat? Certainly not the Eagles. I mean, we had that game. We killed ourselves, right? I mean, who is it that you're deathly afraid of? You know what I mean? Like, it's just frustrating because, like, I'm pretty sure if they could just get their heads out of their asses and just start putting these things together and stop getting in their own way, that the Packers should be in this thing. I don't have a lot of faith in that, but, like, honestly, I don't really want us to have the bye and home. Like, I don't want this team playing with expectations. I would like us to be like the third seed and maybe win a division and be like road dogs. If we, win a game at home and then be road dogs, I think that suits this team better. And that's not just cope. I just think, I think the team and me as a fan is more comfortable in that dynamic. But I think you got some games here. They're just going to have to get it together, and they've got to make the most out of this season, Get at least one game off the Bears, sweep the Vikings, pick a couple of those harder games. I'm going to the Baltimore game. I think that's going to be a good game because both teams are going to need it. But, like, there's a path here, but they got to get the Toyota-thon rolling. They got to start playing complimentary football. But this season is too important. This cannot be a lost season. This cannot be a wash. You know what I'm saying, man? It's right for the picking out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm halfway there with you. I mean, as far as they got to wake up, I think this is a year, unlike last year. Last year was a year where I felt like the Packers were a pretty good team, but there were just some absolute juggernauts that I don't know that we could really match up. This is a year where if the Packers can wake up, pending what happens, if any other team could also, wake up, or, maybe there's some other teams that I'm kind of sleeping on, like New England or something, because I just haven't really super looked into, or, Baltimore, Buffalo. But it does feel like a year where, again, you wake up, I think we got a legit shot. But if you keep screwing around, obviously we're not going to be able to do anything. The only thing I'd probably push back on is sort of the, like, this is our year. In other words, we're screwed after this year kind of mentality. I just feel like, first of all, you said how often does this come along? Pretty much every year for the last 30 years, we've been in a very good position to get something done. It's just a matter of whether they can wake up and get it done. And also, almost every year, there is doom and gloom on the salary cap. I'm already seeing that now. Everybody's getting cut. Everything is over, And I don't know that that's ever actually happened. I haven't looked at it yet. Maybe it's true. Maybe this Micah Parsons thing with the Jordan Love thing has completely screwed us, and we're going to have to move on from everybody. Maybe Rashawn is gone. I don't know. But I just kind of doubt it because, again, it's just the same thing every year. We better do it this year because next year we're screwed. And then next year we're not screwed. We're worse in some ways. We're better in some ways. Guys get better. Guys get worse. New guys come in, free agency. New guys come in the draft. Second-year guys improve. Some second-year guys don't. And it's just a whole new team that you need to evaluate. But at its core, like which core guys are we losing? We're not losing Jordan. We're not losing Zach Tom. Offensive line, I don't know. But I also think a lot of guys are going to end up staying that we don't anticipate just because it's impossible to cut everybody. We're not going to be able to field an offensive line if we don't work something out with some of these guys. I mean, everyone's convinced Rashid is gone and Elton is gone and, I don't know, Sean Ryan is gone or something. Like, it's just, guys, that we can't do that. I shouldn't say can't. I mean, I haven't super looked into it. I could be wrong about that. Maybe, again, if Morgan plays at left tackle and Ryan plays at right guard and we keep Elton, which a lot of people think we won't, but or we just need to go all out in the draft and get like 3 more guys. I don't know. But that assumes they have to start. And the Packers really very rarely put themselves in that kind of a situation, if ever. I don't think there's ever been a situation like that where we don't have a team to field, so we're going to have to draft like 2-3 guys and they have to start. I don't think so. The receivers, Christian's not going anywhere. Golden's not going anywhere. Reed's not going anywhere. Tucker's not going anywhere. Micah's not going anywhere. Van Ness isn't going anywhere. Wyatt isn't going anywhere. Edgerrin, Quay, Valentine, Bullard, McKinney, Evan Williams, right? Like the vast majority of the most important pieces are not going anywhere. So, I mean, that doesn't mean you should be flippant, but I don't want to get into this mode of like panic that we have to do, which, I mean, there's nothing we can do. I mean, all you're saying and all they need to do is wake up. I get that, but again, I that's the only part I would push back on because I know we're going to go down that road at some point. We're screwed after this year. This is our year, and if you ruin it, then you've ruined everything, and we're never going to win a Super Bowl. Something to that effect. Whether it's more or less dramatic, I don't know, but that's kind of the vibe. Like I said, I'm already seeing it.
Howdy, this is Jared Trader, the Uber driver from Texas.
Yo.
Go Pack Go. Let's go.
Howdy.
That's what I'm talking about. 27. That's all we need.
That's all we ever need.
But that was great. I mean, I know closer than most fans will think, but hey, figuring ourselves out. To be fair, also with the head coach firing, we didn't have any film on what this coach does, and I think Halfley adjusted accordingly. Also, we missed I want to say 5 interceptions, maybe just 4, but we missed quite a few. And then also, Jameis, I felt like was throwing the ball pretty fast. I don't know. It felt like
he looked good out there.
Really throwing it fast. And then also, the first half, that passer rating is going to fool you. There were, 3, 4, 5 drops in that first half alone. I don't think as many in the second half, or any at all, really. But, man, I'm excited to see the adjusted completion percentage with Love this week because, man, there were a lot of drops. But, hey, Love stayed on course even after injury and everything. The leak filling in. Great performance. And I think, we needed this game to, figure ourselves out, it's slightly easier to be no sexy Dexy. Man, that man is big. And
he's strong.
Threw Sean Ryan around. I felt bad. Probably Aaron Banks, too. Maybe even Jordan Moore. I don't know. But yeah, go Pack, go. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, I thought Jameis looked good. I'm getting so tired of guys, we're right there to make a play, and he gets the ball off, and it's right in somebody's hands. It's a beautiful throw. I'm tired of that. But at the same time, I think that's kind of what you get from Jameis, because the other side, the only reason, then why isn't Jameis to start? I mean, first of all, because we're cursed. But the other side of that is that he's going to put the ball in harm's way. And that's what happened, and that's what we didn't capitalize on. And that's what made him look probably better than actually what he was. Because if all those turned into actual picks, like I said, we would have absolutely dominated in that game, which is the third week in a row, where if you capitalize on the opportunities that you've been given, or even the opportunities you've been put into, or you put yourself into because of good play. Edgerrin shooting into the backfield, missing that play. I mean, that's a great job by Hafley, whatever he called, to put him in that position. It was a great job by Edgerrin to read it and get down there. Got to capitalize, got to finish, got to close. Closers, you know what I'm talking about? What is that saying? I can't remember. It's probably inappropriate anyways. But that's the only thing that gives me hope. And they may never turn that around. It's kind of the opposite of like the Bears, where, man, they just keep getting lucky. And as soon as that luck runs out, they're going to be in for it. But the luck just doesn't seem to be running out, you know? Now we got Aaron Rodgers might not play. And if he does, he's got a fractured wrist or something. You know, it's just that freaking luck, man. Just keeps coming. One of these days you assume it'll stop, but maybe it won't. Although in the playoffs, that's where luck really starts to wane. Because sometimes luck is kind of aided a little bit. You know, somebody throws a bad pass, and that's kind of lucky, but those types of things happen a little less with better teams. But with the Packers, it's, man, if you could just grab that, if you could just make that tackle, if you could just make that block, we would be dominating people. And you're just waiting for that to turn over, and it's just not super happening.
Good morning and or afternoon or night. Packernet Podcast.
What's going on, man?
Happy Victory Monday. Man, it's been a while since we've had one of these. How cool. You know, I just love it, man. Love waking up and about to go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, about to have some fun today, man. About to play some golf. It was Victory Monday, and I get to wear my Packers pullover, like, while I play golf, and everyone's like, dude, you're Packers fan. I'm like, yeah, dude, they freaking won. That was awesome. No, dude. I think it's crazy how many drops we had, bro. Imagine, dude. Imagine if we don't have the drops. Like, Love has, like, just an absolute insane monster day, man. Like, for real, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not joking.
He did either way.
And, like, we probably blow them out, dude.
I mean, if you're right. First of all, yes. A lot of opportunities to blow people out that we're just not taking advantage of, which is very annoying. But he had a monster day either way. If people just want to be stupid and pretend that they don't see it, pretend that they don't know that, they can do that. That's fine. That's like the game Bears fans are playing right now. They're pretending they're stupid. It's because, you know, if you use your brain at all, you see that the Bears are not good. So the dumber they can be, the better. The better their team is and everything. So they're just all in on being as stupid as is possible. That's kind of the situation. I mean, you have to be stupid to look at Jordan Love and just be like, he's mid, bro. He didn't even get 200 yards. It's like, yeah. Why? You want to elaborate on that, or probably not so much, huh? So, no, he had a monster day. That's why we use advanced analytics. That's why we use grades and things like that, because the people that want to just stare at the box score stats and call everything else nerd stats. Everything I don't like is a nerd stat. They're the ones that will never learn anything.
Like, no joke. Like, that's just how close we were, man. And so, I don't know. Can't blame the coaches for drops, but I thought LaFleur called a pretty damn good game, and it seemed like when Jacobs came out, I thought the play calling was, like, even better. You know, I thought we did more passing. And, like, I don't know. It's just, like, I like when Love rolls out, you know, out of the pocket a little bit. And, like, does that play action kind of stuff. But he definitely, like, came out, like I said this yesterday in my call, he came out firing, like, after the injury. He was like, come on, like, I gotta freaking step up, man. Dude, some of these throws he was making, I mean, dude, a bunch of the throws even that our receivers dropped, like, were freaking great throws.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't even bad throws. It wasn't even like we're like, oh, well, you know, it was kind of, like, hard for him to catch that. Like Watson had one where he threw it down the sideline, and it was like right in his freaking hands.
Yep.
And then not to mention our defense. Our defense has butterfingers too. Oh, could not stand that. Could not stand that, dude. It's like, man, we can't buy one. But Bullard just kept. It looked like Bullard, like throughout the game, he just kept trying to rip the ball to Tracy's hands. He just kept trying to strip the ball. And I'm like, I love the aggression that the team had on defense to try to get a turnover. But against these division opponents, it's going to be bad. Hey, maybe we're saving our best for the division opponents. Go back up.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't for well, I was going to say it wasn't for a lack of trying, but maybe it was a lack of trying. But putting Hafley on the hot seat, as some people are, is also a little silly because, again, look, he's going to put you in a position to succeed. He can't catch the damn ball for you, you know?
Hey, Ryan, Beer Cheese Vein. I think this will be my last call.
Okay.
For real.
Yep.
For real.
For real.
I want to talk about that play that clutch play by Love to throw it to Savion, and Savion to hold on to the ball, really, to be honest with you, because our freaking whole receiving core couldn't freaking catch yesterday. Dude, that was awesome. And you could tell, like, Jordan was in the pocket, and he had, like, a lot of time, but he was telling the receivers what to do. He's like, get the frick over it. What are you doing, man? Get over. He's like, go. And then, you know, it just happens, and I don't know if they did what they were supposed to, but it kind of made me look like he was like, screw it, Savion, come on, get this MFer, and then, you know, he does. But let's not ignore, and, you know, people have brought this up, I'm sure you've seen it online, Chris Brooks, his block on that play. I mean, his blocking, that guy, man, he keeps a spot in my heart on the team, in my mind. You got to keep that guy, Chris Brooks. I mean, he just threw it. He just, like, held him down, man. He didn't hold him, thank God. But he was blocking perfectly on that play, man. A lot of guys stepped up today, man. Wiley, that guy looks like my neighbor. Like, literally, I'm watching the game with Josh Wiley. I'm like, is that his name, Josh? Whatever, anyways.
Yeah, I think so.
Wiley, and I'm like, dude, this guy literally looks exactly like my neighbor. And I saw the Packers posted, like, where, you know, he had the phone, and he was like, what's up, Packers fans? Blah, blah. And I was like, I sent it to my neighbor. I'm like, dude, this guy looks just like you, bro. I was watching the Packer game. I'm like, dude, that's Tim. That's Tim right there. And so that was actually funny. But that play in particular, I feel like we've gotten a lot of touchdowns on that before in a goal line package, or, you know, the tight end or receiver, the tight end comes across in motion, and then they're just wide open there in the corner, and Love just floats it. And I just feel like we hadn't seen that play in a while. Probably because, you know, the defenses have been lined up in a way where we couldn't call that play, I would assume. But, overall, I think if our offense plays like this, where we're kind of, we hold back on, you know, I just don't think we can be a run-heavy offense, you know, and LaFleur wants to, and I get it because we have Jacobs and stuff like that, but I think, dude, just let Love cook, man. If you let him cook like he did yesterday, I mean, again, if we don't have drops, I mean, Love is in control of the game at all times. Go, Pack, go.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think that touchdown was the one Matt LaFleur was kind of talking about. The defender kind of messed up, and I think somebody ran into somebody or whatever, and it caused the Wiley to be wide open on that play. I believe that was the one. There was talk about, what do you call it? Like a pick, which I think is the illegal term for it, and Matt LaFleur was like, well, you're allowed to do that, but he's talking a lot about the defensive technique and how hard it is to play that. And I mean, I think that's a pretty basic thing. If you're especially playing man, you cross a guy over and then you bring the other guy under. And so the hope is, if nothing else, that guy needs to kind of take a long way around, and he's not going to be able to get there in time. But I think in this case, it was kind of a collision, and the defender on Wiley just went down. So we got a little lucky on that one with the defender maybe not playing it quite right. And as far as the run, I mean, again, it's one of those things. It's just, I know coming into this game, I thought it was hilarious because most of the commentators I listened to, they all basically said what the Packers need to do is establish the run. They have to. And I know, I was just thinking, like, fans would be furious if they listen to this because they want us to get away from the run. But it's like, if you don't establish it, you're not going to win. You're not going to be able to do anything. You have to get that going. And, again, the balance is tough. What do you do when the run isn't working? We all seem to agree you can't abandon it. It's just, it becomes a question of balance. And, usually by the end of the game, especially depending on how much you ran early, it will start to open up. So if you go really light on the run-heavy stuff, like I think a lot of fans want us to do, the end of the game, they're still going to be playing us tough, and I don't think we're ever going to see the run open up. Or do you, potentially sacrifice some early play, which is dangerous because you only get so many tries to get first downs, and a run that doesn't go anywhere can be kind of catastrophic for the rest of the drive. But to do that, in order to hopefully start to open things up down the stretch where you're gashing these guys in the run game. Again, the biggest thing isn't so much that I have a solution. It's just we got to remember that things are a lot more complicated than I think we think that it is. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that play worked. Why don't we just call the touchdown play? I promise you if there was a touchdown play, we'd run it all the time, but that's not the case. And, the balance between run and pass, I promise you there is a reason for doing what you're doing. Doesn't mean they're right in their reasoning, but there is a reason. And it's hard to evaluate what they're doing without knowing the reason. We tend to want to just judge the result as opposed to judging the thought process. And I don't think we know the thought process, so it just makes it difficult to properly judge what's happening. And to some degree, you can look at the result, but I think that there needs to be a long period of time to where you look at it and say, look, I don't know, but it doesn't seem to be working. That's kind of like the jet sweep end around thing where it really was about 50-50. It worked a lot. After a while, everybody was complaining about it. You kind of wonder, I think I understand to some degree why that's a good thing, but also the risk benefit gets harder to believe that we're in the benefit column. But again, we ran it this past week with a lot of success. So nobody on Monday is complaining about jet sweeps, which is go figure. I would love for one time somebody to call in and be like, hey, I know that 15-yard run play worked, but I still hate it. I just want to be principled about it and call in and say, I don't think we should have done that. I think we got lucky and it's too risky to do that. And we shouldn't have done that. Anybody just call in and just do that. You know what I mean? Whether it's to say I was wrong or to say I still think you shouldn't do that, it would just be nice to hear once in a while, just to balance things out. You know what I mean? All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back with Daniel from California.
Hey, Ryan, Daniel from California.
Yo.
Something that bothered me so much about this last game, and it's not positive because was the whole Malik Willis thing. It bothered me so much because it just shows me who Matt LaFleur is. He wants to be that offense so bad. He's just oh yeah, I'm going to do some read option and I'm going to do some misdirection run. He's going to get all fancy with his stuff, and it's just that's to his core who he wants to be. And I like, because it's a lot of the same, but it's just I don't know, when you can't rely as much on Josh because Josh is the focal point, right? It's somebody has to step up, and it has to be Jordan. And I don't know if it's a leadership thing or what, but when Josh is gone or Josh isn't as involved, Jordan has the opportunity to step up. And I love Josh Jacobs. I want him involved. I'm not saying I don't want Josh Jacobs, but just like when we need more of what Jordan just did, where we give him the opportunity to rise to the occasion, because there is a lot of and be damned with all going forward on fourth down and all that, but it just seems the game flow a lot of the times is conservative, and I want more just like attack. And yeah, right. We look at how good we ran the ball, but we just need to get Jordan into his rhythm, and then we can run the ball again. I just want to have him really dial in his passing, because we're not going anywhere unless Jordan gets to his peak. And LaFleur wants to be this schematical genius with the run game and the passing concepts and all that, but he wants to have it all based around the run. But you don't have Malik Willis as your starting quarterback. You have Jordan Love, all right? So shotgun passing with runs out of shotgun, and I want more like quick passing, like in rhythm stuff, just so you can get this guy in a rhythm. And I think they did that on Sunday with some of the stuff. They threw it to Josh out of the backfield. It still counted as a run, but a lot of that stuff builds confidence, and that's what we need. We need guys to catch passes for him, because I think it's about to happen. Toyota-san's around the corner. Let's just say it. Toyota-san is here. All right? So MVP love is about to kick in again. So hold on to your butt.
You have to start writing this stuff down, what everybody wants. I appreciate you laying it out in detail, what specifically you're looking for, which is also refreshing. But I can't keep track of what everybody wants all the time. Whether we're passing more, running more, too conservative, not creative enough, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think Matt LaFleur has done a masterful job with Malik in terms of when Malik goes out there, he transforms the offense into what works for Malik. And it's a thing of beauty. Now, again, it's fun to joke about all of that, but I have no doubt that what he wants is Jordan Love. That is for sure his quarterback. I think Malik can absolutely help in a lot of ways, especially with the run game. I think the threat of Malik opens things up, which opens up the run. The problem is you open up the run so that you can pass, and the guy you want passing is Jordan Love. So, that's kind of the predicament that you're in. It's also why I think Malik can be of assistance in some ways. If the run game is really stuck and we really want to get that going so that Jordan can throw more, I don't hate a couple times, just having Malik on the run forces the linebackers to have to cover a lot of ground, which gets them tired. Let's just wear them out, dude, I mean, it's cool to have Josh Jacobs run into them so that, their arms hurt or something, but getting them gassed, working out that gas tank, which I also think as we've gotten away from the outside stuff and worked more inside stuff, it really has caused things to go downhill. I know that that's probably to Josh Jacobs' benefit, but I don't know that it's to our offensive line's benefit. And it's also not really... I mean, Matt's always been kind of an outside kind of a guy, and I think he's been very creative with the way that he uses his offensive linemen. Some of that stuff is just masterful. And I haven't really looked at the offensive line, so I'm kind of speaking out of turn here a little bit. But it feels like we're doing a lot of smashing up the middle as opposed to some of the more creative things to get people going. And maybe that's the offensive line's inexperience and lack of time together. I don't know. But whatever. I'm just going off. I don't even remember what we're talking about anymore. Jersey, Matt, what's up?
Hey, Ryan. How's it going, man? It's Matt from South Jersey. I called initially and said I wanted you to come up with a nickname, but we're just going to go with Matty Ice. So if you could just refer to me as Matty Ice or the Ice Man, that would be perfect. Anyway, Ryan, I'm listening to some other podcasts, some other Packers info, and I'm listening to Wildy and Tausch right now. And they are just so down on Romeo Doubs. And, my family who are not Packers fans, they watch the games with me sometimes and they say, Doubs sucks. Like, Doubs cannot be your one. But as far as like production and passes, targets, I guess I should say, it seems like it has been Dobbs over these past, year and a half. And I'm not down on Dobbs. I think Dobbs is a great player. So I'm kind of wondering your 2 cents, like, one, who is our number one? I know we don't have a true number one, but who do you think our one should be if we had to name one? Because in my eyes, it's still Dobbs. Watson is that deep threat. He is that guy that can open up the defense and do a big splash play, but I still think Dobbs is your go-to, your 3rd and 8 guy who's going to be right there at the line, or he's running that little 10-yard slant. I just feel like Dobbs is still, whether we want it to be or not, is still Jordan's preferred number one. He is constantly looking for Dobbs on a 3rd down. Maybe I'm wrong, but what's your 2 cents on this? How do you view Dobbs?
So I'm with you. I like Dobbs. I do tend to think that eventually, right now with the injuries, it just is what it is. I think at full strength, Dobbs is still going to be a major guy for the Packers because that's what probably Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love want. I personally would like to sort of move away from that, but it's going to take time. And rather than thinking of like number one, I tend to think about it in terms of the type of receiver, X, the Z, the slot, the F. And so at full strength, what do we know? Christian Watson absolutely is the Z receiver. This is your big speed guy, stretching out the field, all that kind of stuff. Our slot guy very obviously is Jaden Reed. That's our dude. So it just kind of comes down to who's going to be that sort of Devontae. And I don't mean that in terms of like number one, because your slot guy can be your number one. Your Z can be your number one in terms of just, I think what we're all talking about as fans is production, your big-time playmaker. I don't know, man. It could be whoever. But the question is who's going to be the X receiver. Now, my ultimate preference, even though most people say this is not what he's meant to do or whatever, he should be a slot or possibly a Z, I would like to see Golden in this spot. I think Golden is a phenomenal route runner. I think he has phenomenal hands, and I think he can handle it. Could he be a Z? Could he be a slot? Probably, yeah. I think he could probably do all of those things. But that would be my preference. However, he's not really apparently ready for that role. So my preference eventually, and again, there's rotations and whatnot, but those would be like my starting 3, if I had to pick, would be Golden, Reed, and Watson. However, until Golden can kind of get to where they need him to be, Dobbs, I think, can handle that responsibility. He might not be elite. I doubt in that situation he's going to be the high production guy. That's probably going to be more so Reed, depending on, if Watson has a big day. Watson at any moment can have 125 yards, 3 touchdowns type of a day. But on a game-to-game basis, Reed, maybe it could be Dobbs, but that's kind of the point. It's always going to bounce around. But my hope is, and always kind of was, that Golden gets opportunities as the X receiver, can really solidify that and be a legit number one receiver. We still have Reed, who's going to make big plays and have big games, same with Watson. But it would be nice to have that one just dominant guy that is the go-to for the offense. And I do think that right now is Dobbs, and I don't super love that because I don't know that he is, as far as skill sets go, he's maybe our 4th receiver. And I just don't know how we get to the point where we kind of hand over the keys. Because again, this is moving at a glacial pace. And we may need to just recognize that switch is not going to happen. Not this year. It's just not going to happen. What you might see is an uptick for Golden and an uptick for Savion, who I really like and also think could be a solid X receiver. And again, with these different packages, you could have Golden playing Z. You could have Reed playing in the Z. You can have Savion as the slot, as a big slot. There's a lot of different fun things you can do. Nothing really is as straightforward as just saying, here's your 1, 2, 3 or your XYZ or any of that kind of stuff. But just in terms of kind of basic going through it, I think that's kind of where we're at. And again, when Reed comes back, I think that's going to get solidified with Dobbs, Reed, and Watson. And Dobbs being that sort of X receiver probably means he's going to get a lot of looks. all the slants, the fades, the comebacks, those kind of bread and butter, get you a third down type of thing. Occasionally you got Watson flying across the field or something like that to convert a third. But a lot of the bread and butter stuff is going to be going to that X receiver who right now is Dobbs. And again, to me, that is suboptimal just because I feel like we're kind of force-feeding our fourth best receiver. And I don't really know. Again, my goal, probably not today, maybe tomorrow, is to go back and look at the last couple games for Golden just to see how are they using him, in what capacity and whatnot. I mean, I know he's been injured and whatnot, but I'm just curious. Like, are they using him as the X receiver when he's in there? Is he the slot receiver? Is he the speed stretch the field guy receiver? Who is he out there with? Is he being paired with Watson? Is he being paired with Dobbs or Savion? I'm just curious the mindset right now behind Golden and what his value is according to Matt LaFleur. And I do understand not moving off of Dobbs, but I also think we have a ceiling that can be raised. And I guess that's just kind of where I'm at.
Hey, I was just thinking about, it was a week 1 game, maybe it's probably 3 years ago at this point. It was Chiefs versus the Lions, and it was probably the best quarterback performance I've ever seen that meant nothing, because Mahomes was just putting these pinpoint passes everywhere, and everybody was dropping them. You wouldn't believe it if you actually go and watch that game. It's just some of the most amazing throws I've ever seen. And we watched Rodgers, right, 10, 15 years. And it's just a highlight film of the guy just running for his life, because I think Aiden Hutchinson's in year 2, and he's just going full Aiden Hutchinson. Remember before he hurt his knee? This might have been maybe 2 years ago probably, but this guy's running for his life, and he's just on the run, just dropping it the ball right in somebody's face, and they can't even hold on to it. And I just felt like everything that we saw, this last game, it's like the closest thing I've ever seen to that, where it's just such an amazing effort by a quarterback just to mean nothing, even though we did win and everything and all that stuff. But it's just, I'm glad Jordan got a good grade, because 7 drops in the swirling wind and just dropping amazing pass after amazing pass, with pressure, without pressure, man, zone, whatever, right? However they wanted to play him, he just got the ball everywhere, and I'm just happy that even though he's still only, I think he passed 24 times. I just want, I will continue to say it. I know we were effective against the run, but we need Jordan to be in a rhythm just like he was in that game. And I know it's not the best team in the world. They have some good pieces on that defense, but it's just we need Jordan to be that sharp in order to make a run. So hopefully, for some reason, Toyotathon's real. I want Toyotathon.
I want it so bad.
And I saw a Toyotathon shirt on Instagram today.
Ooh, nice.
Jordan with Toyotathon on. So don't get me excited, please. I would love just to just roll off 5 80 grades in a row, and then throw in 2 90s in there or something. Nothing would make me happier. So don't toy with my heart. All right, so, but great game, Jordan. And I just hope they throw to Christian more. But all I got, go Paco.
Yeah, I'm ready to believe in miracles. That's all I can say, because the Toyotathon thing is a thing of beauty, and it's magic, and it's whimsical, and I love it. I really do, and I want to buy a T-shirt because I just need it to be real. I really, really need it to be real.
Last thing, just for the record, because I know it says on the stat sheet that Christian Watson has 2 touchdowns against the Giants, but really, he is. The Packers love this guy because he's perfect with scheme, technique, fundamentals, blocking, all that stuff. His chip caused that touchdown, so we love that man. 3 touchdowns. Put it on the stat sheet. Sorry, Wiley. I know it's your first. I know that's your first touchdown as a Packer or in the NFL, don't remember, whatever, but just Christian Watson, he did that for you. So go give that guy a hug, all right? Go give him a hug. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, he is such a physical beast. That guy. It's I mean, I'm like I said, I'm more impressed by him every day. The guy is he's doing stuff that I wasn't even like giving him credit for. You know, it's just he's super fast and nobody can catch him, and that's good enough for me. You know, I don't freaking need anything else more than that. But he is a monster, and I'm very, very excited about him. I you know, I'm hoping Golden will end up being a better receiver than him, but right now he is, I would say he's our best receiver. It's a weird word to use, best, because it's hard to quantify, like, what does that mean? And no, I don't mean that we should just force feed him the ball all the time. It's hard to get the ball to him. That's the deep shot that you always want, so you got to set it up. You do that with a lot of running, also some stuff underneath, which nobody likes any of that. But that's what you got to do. In fact, it was funny on that big conversion to Watson. I think it was on third down coming across. Not that it would have necessarily mattered, but if you go back and look at that, look at the linebackers and how much they bit up on that play when he ran behind them. What are they biting up for? Because we're running the ball. They bit on the play action. You have to be able to sell that if you want that big shot later on. If you want to convert that big third down and get Watson open, if the linebackers aren't biting on it because you're not running, then you're not passing either, because they're just not going to come downhill. They're going to stay back, and they're going to take everything away. All right, I thought we had a lot more calls because there was a bunch that I skipped, and I was like, oh, I guess I didn't skip that much. That's weird. And then it said there was 15 more calls, and I'm seeing only 3. Well, apparently there were like 12 calls that I had skipped. I had to go back and get rid of those. So we are actually running out of calls here. So if you want to get some calls in, feel free to do so. Otherwise, again, I'll always take a day off. But I got to get going. Got to get to work on this Laughing at the Enemy episode. And I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.